And welcome to the super fun, awesome, happy time, Poly Blue Octave balls, Batman. My name is Gabor.
Hey, welcome. I'm Alex. We're going to check out this new pedal from MXR today.
Yeah.
Please hit like and subscribe on the channel. Give us a thumbs up. Ding the bell. Send us some cookies. Cash.
Cookies would be nice. All cash. Cash and cookies. Cookies inside of cash. I mean, cash inside of cookies. Anyway.
They're set up today. We're going to pedal into a Monstronics amp switcher in the rack, into a Cherry Tone OTS Mini 20 amp, set clean, and a 2-notes Torpedo Captor X for the IRs for the cab sim.
Yes, and this was sent to us by the good folks at Jim Dunlop MXR Australia, so this is a sponsored video. So the Poly Blue Octave, it's basically their take on a polyphonic octave generating kind of pedal.
Yo.
Nudge, nudge, wink, wink. Where you have an octave down, 2 octaves down, an octave up, and 2 octaves up. But you also have modulation, you have fuzz, you have quite a bit going on in there, plus an expression pedal input, which we'll get into later. So there's tons happening. So should we have a sort of a quick look at what it does?
Sure. Should we just start off with, like, the fuzz sound?
Well, you can just use it as a fuzz,
yeah,
if you really wanted to.
Which is pretty cool.
So basically you turn it on, and you have a very bright light here. And at the moment, with everything turned off, and the dry signal in the middle, it's just basically the same as your clean sound. What you can do is you can just push the fuzz button. And that just becomes the volume. But, and this is before, we're going to get into the whole octave stuff, but you can also just use it as a modulation pedal. So this modulation, if it's set on the polyphonic, so you've got a little switch in the back that says mono and polyphonic, well, just mono. So if the light is on, it's set to the monophonic setting. If the light is off, it's set to the polyphonic setting. In a polyphonic setting, the mod is kind of like sort of like a Leslie-esque kind of thing, which sounds like this. Now, if you go to monophonic setting, this turns into kind of like a Phase 90 style sound. And it will still work with, if you don't use any of the octave stuff, it makes no difference. You can still, it plays monophonic. The monophonic or polyphonic thing only applies to the octave bits, right? So you can technically use it as a fuzz, as a Leslie style, or kind of some almost vibrato-y Leslie style kind of modulation, or a phaser, right? You can,
cool.
If you have that on, you can just do on clean as well. So you can just have the phase on clean. This is the phase on clean. But that's not really what we're here for. That's just
Not
a
even
byproduct.
close.
Yeah. So what we can do now is let's turn the modulation down, right? And now let's start introducing, what do you want to start off with? Lower octaves or higher octaves?
Higher octaves.
Higher octaves, okay. So you have now, let's turn a dry signal off. Let's just go 1 octave higher, shall we?
very organ.
Very organ-y sound. Yeah, I guess that's why they picked the Leslie kind of sound too, because it gives you that organ sound. And then you can add the lower octaves to it, which sound really cool. It just fattens it up, especially with the fuzz on.
Should we try it without the high octaves just to hear the low ones?
Just the low octaves, yeah, okay. So this is what it sounds, the same setting without the fuzz. No, hang on. The riff you're playing is kind of monophonic anyway. You're not really playing any chords.
Sure.
So how about, let's just hear the difference. I'm going to turn the modulation off for now. Let's just keep playing that riff, and I'm going to switch over to monophonic.
Okay.
So the monophonic setting, it changes the sound quite drastically. Also, in a monophonic setting, the octave up, the 2 octave up dials are not straight octave ups anymore. They turn into sort of that Octavia kind of sound. So it's more like almost that ring modulator-esque. So that if
More
it
synthetic-y.
So if we're turning that down,
Is
if
that the right
it,
word? More metallic, synthetic?
sure. So if I turn all that off and just have the high octaves on now. It's cool. It's like turns it as massive.
You can't play too fast. It just
No. Well, you
Doesn't
usually
do it.
have to work with that guy. And did I mention it before? When you hold that in, the light flashes, and then a dry knot becomes it's almost like a blend for the fuzz. So you can have the fuzz a bit more in your face and a bit less in your face. So maybe should we just have a quick look at just that?
sure.
It's cool.
Huge.
Now, You can also plug an expression pedal into that. Let's do that.
Let's do that.
Okay, so we now plug this thing in. So it's kind of the same as an expression pedal. This is just, I don't know, I'll put it here. You can hopefully sort of see it right. This is by All Blood Noise Endeavors. It's an expression slider, but it's the same as plugging an expression pedal into it. Basically, all you do is you set this to the heel position, or down, I guess would be the heel position. Set this to whatever you want it to be. So what do we want in a heel position?
I guess the typical thing would be maybe a more mild sound, like
Okay, so without fuzz.
Octave up and...
Polyphonic without fuzz. Okay, let's do that.
Yeah, modulation. Let's give me that low stuff a bit.
That sound. Okay.
Perfect.
Then all you got to do is you move it up to the toe position, and now we want, let's say, fuzz. We want it to be monophonic, and we want it to be slow phase, lots of sub frequencies. I mean, you get the drift. You set it up. You have the two different settings, and you can kind of morph between the two with an expression pedal. So I think that's pretty much everything with this. Should we do a couple of sort of maybe sound examples and see how we go from there?
What we can pull out of it.
So that was the Poly Blue Octave, and this is Alex and his dog.
Yeah. Technically, she owns the house. We just rent it from her.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's fun here.
Yeah, it's really cool. I think if it would have just been the 2 octaves up and the 2 octaves down, it would have been same old, same old.
Yep.
But adding that modulation in particular and having the fuzz circuit in it as well,
it's fun.
It takes it somewhere else.
There's fuzzes with that kind of stuff before, but the modulation, I think that's
The modulation
that's a fun combo.
That does make
Especially the 2 types.
Yeah.
That's a really nice addition.
And like with all MXR stuff, super easy to use.
Yep.
You know, there are secondary functions, but it doesn't take a lot of work to work it out. It's fairly easily worked out, fairly quickly worked out. Expression pedal is pretty cool as well. I think you can actually hook up an external foot switch through that as well and turn things like the fuzz on and off and a monophonic and polyphonic thing on and off as well. So it's a multi-use thing. But I think it's just and it's small. It's easy to use.
It's MXR
It's MXR size. Yeah, so I think it's a pretty cool pedal.
Very cool. What do you guys think?
Yeah, let us know in the comments below.
And thanks for hanging again. Thanks again for Jim Dunlop Australia, MXR Australia, for sending us some fun toys.
Yes.
Oh yeah, please hit like and subscribe, because if you haven't already watched them, I'm not sure if they're out yet, but there's a bunch of cool wahs coming out.
Yeah, wah videos.
Yeah.
So I'll put a playlist of all the MXR, Jim Dunlop, Way Huge, all that stuff. I'll put that at the end whenever we say goodbye. So the dog who's there.
Say goodbye.
Say bye, dog. Obedient dog. On that note, the playlist is now. Bye.
Bye.
And see you next time. Thank you so much for watching.